Coming up on the National Rundown, a special report on the recent DEA accusations. Margaret keeps us up to date with world news, and Nina informs us on the upcoming weather this weekend.
So, I just moved in with this family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that! That's disgusting! Oh, poop already! You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
Hello, welcome to the National Rundown. I'm Brandon Ned.
And I'm Taylor Bailey.
A suicide bomber attacking Kabul, Afghanistan kills 7 and injures 36. According to Afghan Interior Military, the bombing happened on Wednesday in the middle of a busy street when a car exploded across from a police station and a taxi stand. The majority of the victims were civilians and had no military connection. As of right now, no terrorist groups have claimed the attack.
And now, Craig Boswell has the latest on some alleged DEA sex parties.
In a new report, the Justice Department Inspector General says overseas drug cartels paid for DEA agents in Colombia to have sex parties with prostitutes. The IG's report says although some of the DEA agents participating in these parties denied it, the information in the case file suggested they should have known the prostitutes in attendance were paid with cartel funds. The prostitution scandal involving Secret Service agents on an advance trip for a presidential visit to Cartagena shined a spotlight on potential sexual misconduct overseas.
For a while we thought it was just the Secret Service, but this report demonstrates that the DEA and others, they are engaging in activity that puts our national security at risk.
House Oversight Committee Chairman Jason Chaffetz is promising to hold hearings and says those involved should be fired.
Just because somebody else does it, or maybe it's legal in that country as it is in Colombia, it doesn't mean that you're allowed to bring a foreign national into your room, let alone get naked with that person.
The IG report found the Drug Enforcement Administration was not fully cooperative in the investigation and outlines a host of other allegations. 7 DEA agents admitted attending the parties and were given suspensions ranging from 2 to 10 days. Craig Boswell, CBS News, Washington.
A Drexel University graduate was one of 3 Americans who died in the Germanwings plane crash in southern France on Monday. 2013 music industry graduate Emily Selk was aboard the plane departing from Barcelona, Spain, traveling to Germany when the airliner rapidly descended and crashed into the French Alps, killing all 150 on board. Reports indicate the co-pilot deliberately crashed the plane.
Sandy Hook gunman Adam Lanza was demolished this weekend after the council voted build a new school on the property. The demolition is in an effort to leave the bad memory behind.
Amateur musicians get a bad rap after holding up a post office in the Siberian village. Russian police have caught the rap duo this past weekend. The tag team stole $250,000 in cash, and if charged and convicted of armed robbery, the duo could face up to 7 years in prison. The purported abduction for a ransom of a California woman turns out to be a hoax. Vallejo police found 29-year-old Denise Huskins 400 miles away in a Huntington Beach after Huskins' boyfriend reported her kidnapping on Monday morning. Reasons why the woman decided to go missing are currently unclear.
2 fatal shootings occurred in Pasco County, Florida this past Wednesday. A young teenager shot 2 of his brothers after having an argument over food. The shooting led to the death of one brother and wounded the other. After shooting his brothers, the young teen took his own life by shooting himself. The name of the shooter has not been released. Big changes will be coming to your Facebook page. CEO Mark Zuckerberg and other executives have added a lot of new features to the social media platform. While they haven't announced the exact changes, they have said that they will make it easier for users to communicate.
The White House Communications Director defends the decision of trading a U.S. sergeant for 5 Taliban leaders. Sergeant Bo Bergdahl was released last May after being held captive for 5 years, but is now facing life in prison for walking away from an Afghanistan post and putting his fellow soldiers in danger. His hearing has yet to be announced.
After the break, hear from Tatiana with entertainment news. Stay tuned.
Body language can tell you all sorts of things. Like someone is having a stroke. Know the sudden signs. Learn fast. Face drooping, arm weakness, speech difficulty. Time to call 911 and get them to a hospital immediately. Learn the body language and spot a stroke fast.
Look, don't be pressed to follow the crowd. Being your own person is the freshest choice you can make. So make the right decisions right now.
The power of one is much greater than the power of a dozen.
Be your own person.
Make the right decisions right now.
Amanda Knox's high-profile case might finally be reaching its end. On Friday, Italy's highest court will decide the fate of Knox in her role for former roommate Meredith Kercher. ER's murder in 2007, if convicted, she could be forced to return to Italy and face up to 28 years in prison.
Here's Tatiana with the latest on One Direction.
It's official. Zayn Malik has left One Direction after 5 years of being a part of the band. The artist has apologized to his fans if he let anyone down, but felt he needed to do what was right. Members of the group wished the best for Zayn and stated that they wish the best for him and they will always be friends. One Direction will continue as a 4-person group and record a 5th album later this year. The final lineup for March Madness Music Festival has been announced. The event will take place April 3rd through April 5th at White River State Park in Indianapolis and will include Imagine Dragons, Weezer, Passion Pit, Cold War Kids, Cole Swindle, Rihanna, Zac Brown Band, and The Bleachers. The entire festival will be live streamed on the NCAA Festival website. Back to you at the desk.
One of the expelled fraternity members of the Oklahoma frat who was caught singing a racist chant on the way home from an event has made his first public apology for his role in the video. The member stated that he is embarrassed and deeply sorry for his actions.
A new study led by researchers of the World Health Organization has found that Ebola is mostly deadly for children who are under 5 years old. It was discovered that the Ebola virus affects children differently than adults. The virus progresses much more rapidly in children, which puts them at a higher risk than adults. And now Ryan Woodhatch is here to discuss the latest information on the Germanwings plane crash.
Hello, Ryan.
Hi. Well, the situation that's currently happening in New York City is it's being reported that a building has collapsed at the address of 125 2nd Ave in the East Village at roughly 3:30 p.m. today. The situation is still developing, and the FDNY is currently on the scene dousing the flames of the buildings.
Have there been any injuries that happened from this?
I really want to emphasize that the situation still is ongoing. Initial reports from the New York Post are saying at least 30 people have been hurt. The FDNY says that more than 250 firefighters are on the scene right now.
How did the tragic incident begin?
Local New York City media is reporting that there was an explosion in the restaurant on the ground floor of the apartment complex. And then that after the explosion, a 7-alarm fire erupted and engulfed the top floors of the apartment building. So, and Mayor Bill de Blasio has, in the last 5 minutes, has addressed New York City, and he said, one building has completely collapsed. At least a dozen people are injured. Some people still may be trapped inside, and 4 people are currently in critical condition. But it is under control right now. The fire's out. Initial reports are saying that it was not an act of terrorism, and it was simply a gas fire. So.
All right, well, thank you, Ryan. We'll be sure to stay up to date on that. In other news, Egypt is preparing to send troops into Yemen to assist the Saudi-led campaign to drive back the Iranian-backed Houthi advance. Saudi Arabia and 9 other states began airstrikes. Shortly after this, the Egyptian Navy and Air Force said they are ready to join the campaign.
Experts say eating whole grains leads to a long, healthy life. A new study released this week by the BMC Medicine suggests that eating hefty amounts of cereal and fibers can reduce the risk of death from a number of causes, including cancer and diabetes, by almost 20%. Experts also emphasize the less sugar in cereal, the better.
And now, here's Margaret Ford with the latest on some of the biggest headlines in this week's World News Minute. Margaret?
Thanks, guys. I'm Margaret Ford, and here is your World News Minute. The top story this week, prosecutors investigating Germanwings Flight 9525 say that the crash was deliberate. Around 8 this morning, French Marseille prosecutor Bryce Robin stated that an audio recording recovered from the plane seems to indicate that one of the pilots was locked out of the cockpit, while the co-pilot, identified as Andreas Lubitz, manually activated the descent of the plane that killed all 150 people on board. In the recording, Lubitz could be heard breathing while his co-pilot attempted to access the cockpit. Despite the seemingly deliberate act by Lubitz, there is no evidence of terrorism, and the investigation is still underway. In other news, video game streaming service Twitch.tv was a target of a data breach earlier this week. The attack on the Amazon-owned website compromised users' passwords, home addresses, credit card information, and more user-sensitive material. The service emailed all users, resetting all passwords and streaming keys. That's it for this week's World News Minute. Now back to you guys at the desk.
And now here's Paul with My Truth.
Thank you. Charles Barkley once famously said, "I'm not a role model," as a part of a Nike ad. When you're a professional athlete, you impact the lives of more people than you know. Professional football player Greg Hardy was convicted on a domestic violence charge. While his trial was set to commence, the young woman that accused Hardy of choking her and threatening to kill her did not appear in court to testify against him. Instead of facing jail time, it is believed that Hardy paid off his victim. Just last week, Hardy signed a contract with the Dallas Cowboys after he was released by his former team, the Carolina Panthers, for whom he enjoyed much success. The NFL is investigating the conviction further, but is getting some resistance from the North Carolina court that convicted Hardy. His punishment for this season has yet to be determined. His punishment shouldn't be up for any debate. No team should have signed Hardy after the Panthers released him. Shame on the Dallas Cowboys for paying a man convicted of strangling a woman and threatening her life. But most of all, shame on Hardy. He truly is not a role model. I'm Paul Hudrick. Back to you at the news desk.
Chris Christie is now one of 26 governors who has blocked President Obama's policies on immigration. While New Jersey is not one of the states that have filed a lawsuit against the president, like South Dakota, Louisiana, and Texas, the governor has always had a strong stance on immigration, and many are suspicious over the fact that he has been very quiet about his decision to sign the amicus brief. The governor, who is known by vocal on his stances, been keeping his mouth shut. Many believe this is due to his potential plans to run for president in 2016. Firing squads may no longer be something you will read about in a history textbook. The state of Utah may be the first state to bring back the firing squad as a method of execution. If lethal injections are unavailable currently, and Cuba is the only country the Americas are allowing fire squads for civilians. The controversial marijuana legalization law in Colorado is facing a lot of lawsuits as of late. The new amendment to the state constitution is making Colorado state neighbors, Nebraska and Kansas, extremely frustrated by the amount of marijuana that is being brought over the border due to the voter-approved amendment. Anti-drug advocacy groups are suing the state for breaking federal laws.
March Madness is coming to a close, but baseball is just beginning. April has the latest on sports news.
Thanks, Taylor. Big changes will be happening in the 2015 NFL season. The blackout rule, which prevents games from being broadcasted in a team home market if the game is not sold out, may be a thing of the past. The league announced that the rule has been suspended and will be reevaluated after the upcoming season. The Royals continue to make their royalties. The Kansas City baseball team almost doubled their team value with a 43% increase to $700 million from $490 million in 2014. Forbes magazine noted that it is the largest year-over-year increase. Speaking of baseball, the opening will be played Easter Sunday with the Cardinals versus the Cubs.
Fall Out Boy will perform during the pregame show. So we know they are undefeated in the Stars of the March Madness bracket, but what does the 36-0 Kentucky Wildcats do when they aren't shooting hoops? Play Super Smash Bros. In a Nintendo 64 and a lot of it. Shoot guard Aaron Harrison has said it is a fun way for the team to reduce stress and get their mind off of basketball. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, April. Possible snow this weekend? We'll hear all about it after the break. Stay tuned.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
We've got a big problem, and we need your help.
It's called sexual assault, and it has to stop.
We have to stop it. So listen up.
If she doesn't consent, or if she can't consent,
it's a crime. It's wrong.
We need all of you to be part of the solution. This is about respect. It's about responsibility.
It's up to all of us to put an end to sexual assault. And that starts with you.
Because one is too many.
Camden Arts Morgan Village Academy Choir students hope to be traveling to Poland this summer to perform at the International Choral Festival. They are hosting a fundraiser to help fund their trip this Saturday at the Woodcrest Country Club in Cherry Hill.
A new study has found that dogs can be used to detect thyroid cancer. By using their keen sense of smell, the research dogs were able to detect which patients had cancer through their urine samples.
And now, here's Nina with the upcoming forecast.
Thank you. The rain has been nonstop today, off and on. We're going to see temperatures in the mid-60s currently, but temperatures will be dropping overnight. Let's take a look at our 5-day forecast. Tomorrow we're going to see more rain with temperatures in the upper 40s. It'll drop down to the lower 30s overnight. On Saturday, yes, you see correctly, we have a chance of snow. Temperatures will be in the upper 30s, but dropping overnight to the low 20s. Sunday, we see all sunny skies, a high of 47 with a low of 33. Temperatures will continue to raise this coming week. Monday, we'll see a high of 55, and Tuesday, we'll also see a high of 55. But don't put your umbrellas away just yet. Monday, we still have some rain coming our way. Now let's take a look at our weather window. As we can see, the sky is cloudy, it's miserable, and there's not many people walking around in this terrible weather. I am so sick and tired of this rain today.
Oh, who are you telling?
I was really confused this morning because, I felt really warm and then it started raining and it's just really confusing. All day I've seen a lot of off and on.
Yeah, the rain brought this warm weather, but it didn't bring any sun, and I was really upset because I was ready to be springed out today.
Exactly, yeah.
Exactly.
I know there's snow coming, so.
Snow on Saturday.
Yeah, this doesn't seem like April weather, does it?
No, it doesn't seem like normal weather for anything.
Where is spring?
Sun, rain, 70 degrees today, so Saturday. What?
Right.
All right, well, thank you so much, Nina.
Thank you. I'm Brandon Ned.
And I'm Taylor Bailey.
Sorry.
You're fine. Thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching.